What is up, you beautiful people? What is up, YouTube? You multi-dimensional beings having this human experience and sharing it with me. Here I am once again in Costa Rica at Hendrik Retreat Center with another video for you guys today. Today's topic is something that I've been studying and having my own experiences with the last, I'd like to say, 6 years or so, maybe has been my journey so far. But today's topic is polyamory. Pretty controversial for some people, but if you're clicking on this video, maybe you consider yourself to be poly, or maybe not. Maybe you just want to learn some more. Either way, we're going to be talking about polyamory, what it is. We're going to be comparing it to monogamy. We're going to be looking at the ups and downs. We're going to be talking about things like, is it an orientation? Is it a lifestyle? Is it one or the other? Is it a combination of both? Does it work for everybody? Doesn't it? We have a lot of things to cover. I'll also be relating it back to my own personal life experience. I've had experience in monogamous relationships and polyamorous relationships, and they can both be rewarding in very different ways. So also, I'd like to preface this video with saying that this is just an intro, guys. I mean, there's so much to say that even if I sat here all day and talked about it, I couldn't say everything. There is so much to learn. There's so many books to read. I'll be recommending some books. And also, nothing beats life experience. So, getting experience and asking yourself these questions ultimately is what's going to lead. You're going to want your own understanding, right, of what this is by gathering resources from different places. So, hopefully, I'm just one of those resources, and you're gathering information from all kinds of different places, right? So, polyamory, a lot of people would describe it as ethical non-monogamy, right? As having relationships or having the capacity, the ability to share love and intimacy with more than one partner in a consensual way. Although I can say that there are people who may be polyamorous who aren't doing it in an ethical, consensual way. I don't necessarily approve of this, but nonetheless, it exists, right? So, is it an orientation? This gets weird. In the same way that, are you gay? Are you straight? Are you bisexual? Are you polyamorous? Does it work that same way? And you could make the argument of almost either case. I've known polyamorous people who can be happy in polyamorous situations, and they can be happy in monogamous ones as well, depending on the context of the situation. And when you look at it like that, you could say that it's more of a lifestyle. When you look at it as a lifestyle, then you look at it in a way where it could be a learned behavior, right? So, in my case, let's say like in high school or just getting out, I would have never imagined myself to be polyamorous. I quite enjoyed my monogamous relationships. I was in one for just about 8 years, and I had a lot of jealousy and insecurities. Although there were many times where I was uncontent and I didn't know why. You grow up and you mature and you learn things about yourself and in other people. And one of those things is, over time, I opened myself up to the idea of polyamory. I realized that I was, a very loving person, and I caught myself, generating very deep feelings for more than one person at a time. And I wasn't quite sure how to cope with that because, we're taught that if you really love somebody, you're not going to have these kind of feelings for anyone else. And that began to confuse me. I thought that there was something wrong with me. Um, but once I learned about polyamory, it opened my mind to the possibility that, hey, maybe this is something that's describing me. But as I started to learn more and more about polyamory, it was a mix of emotions, right? Like, part of me was very excited because this was new information for me, and it was teaching me a lot, and it was opening my mind to all kinds of different possibilities. But at the same time, I was afraid because I was comfortable and I was afraid of change, and I didn't know what this was going to mean for my life for the relationships that I had already. And how were my friends going to perceive this? Or even more so, my family, what were they going to think? And I was worried about all kinds of stuff like that. Um, so, in essence, you could say it's a lifestyle. Um, Although I do tend to see and believe that people do lean that way or another way, um, it also comes down to free will and what you think free will is, um, which we can talk about more in other videos, because I've experimented with both. And even right now, it's hard to put myself in a box to define myself as a monogamous or polyamorous person. Personally, I haven't quite decided because I am one of those people that I feel like I could be happy in either one. But right now, I'm happy on my own. I do share love. I feel like I am polyamorous in the sense where it's like I have an open heart. I love many people, but I'm building my relationship currently with myself and exploring self-love and being here for me. Although I think both are extremely beautiful in their own ways. Specifically polyamory, because that's a topic today, and maybe we make a whole other video on monogamy at some other point, maybe after this one. But in my life experience, it has helped me overcome jealousy, insecurity. It's helped me become more confident in myself and build better communication skills. It's taught me more of what I want and don't want out of a relationship. But in a lot of ways, polyamory requires more communication, more vulnerability, more responsibility than monogamous relationships in a lot of cases. But here's the thing as well, is that in my experience, I've met a lot of people who use polyamory as an excuse to actually avoid intimacy and avoid closeness. These are people that honestly want to be single per se. They don't really want intimacy. They're afraid of intimacy. They're afraid of commitment even. They don't want to get into these deep relationships, but they also don't want to be alone. So for a lot of people, they've come to the conclusion or the solution for them that if they're polyamorous, they can have the benefits of being in a relationship. They can get intimacy when they want it. They can have these things, but also they're free to do whatever they want. And they don't have to respond to anybody, and they get the liberties of being single, but then lack communication skills. And I feel like this isn't really coming from a place of wanting to build relationships. In these kind of cases, I think that, you should be single, or there is solo poly, people who consider themselves to be polyamorous and are single. And that's a whole other case. I mean, polyamory can manifest itself in so many ways. Again, for me to talk about all the ways in which they could manifest themselves would take me all day. I would suggest Teal Swan has multiple videos on this, and I feel like in her video she goes over specific types. In this video, I'm relating it more to my own personal experience, and what it's helped me to understand. I've understood that love is infinite, but that being said, your time and your energy in this body that you have is finite. So you could have infinite love for the whole world, for everybody, your friends, your family, your partners, and everything. But your time is, it's valuable, but it's only as valuable as you see it, and who you share that with is important. Polyamory, you're going to have to learn how to communicate and schedule your time accordingly and divide that up. It can take a lot of energy from you to maintain this, because maintaining even a relationship with one person has enough challenges. Let's talk about what polyamory is not. It is not a way to spice up your already monogamous relationship if it's not doing well, right? We see this a bunch. That's not really poly, you know. When it is, it's gotta be because, you know, if you're still doubtful, if you're not sure, then don't force it, you know. Over time, you'll know. Be gentle and patient with yourself. Take time to be alone with yourself. Read about it more. Talk to people who are polyamorous. Get on forums. I joined a multiple Facebook groups, and I'm always reading on their different stories from different people who have been living this experience for far longer than I have, and seeing what kind of issues they're dealing with or how they handle these issues. I look at people who are doing a good job of this, who have had good experiences, and people who have had bad experiences. And the truth is, in monogamy or in polyamory, both are possible, you know. A relationship, the quality of it is not predicated upon it being monogamous or polyamorous, right? You can have a high-quality relationship or low-quality relationship in either or case, right? You can have a dishonest relationship in either case. So what is it that you want ultimately? The best way to know whether you're poly or not is just to be clear with yourself and what it is that you want out of your life. And then even these labels at a certain point they can still feel like limitations, because you're always growing, you're always changing. I recommend 2 books for you if this is something that you want to get into and learn more about. One that comes very highly recommended is More Than Two. And my personal favorite would be The Ethical Slut. And I will put a link over here, or, you know, I'll put the book somewhere here so you can see it. That one helped me a bunch. Gives you a lot of exercises for dealing with your emotions and sitting with them, not distracting yourself. All of this can help grow you. So I think that polyamory, in a way, is something that can be very helpful for your personal growth if you're using it in that way, right? You just got to get honest with yourself, because, you know, we can all lie to ourselves, and there's liars in every place in the world, you know. A lot of people will argue, and I don't like this argument. I'm not defending this argument, but a lot of people will argue that, you know, polyamory is more spiritual, it's more aware, it's more evolved, right? Because monogamy has been, you know, forced upon us, and it's this outdated system, and that's why there's so much divorce and all of this. I think that monogamy is a beautiful thing when you choose it, right? If you're in a monogamous relationship, are you in a monogamous relationship because, well, that's how it has to be, can't be any other way? That's different than saying, you know, I'm in a monogamous relationship because I know what all my options are. I could be single. I could be in a polyamorous relationship. I could be part of a polycule. But I also could be in a monogamous relationship with somebody. And that's my choice, and I'm choosing this deliberately. Honestly, whatever you choose has got to be personalized for you. So just make sure you're choosing it. You know, my job here, my point that I'm trying to get across is make sure that it's a choice. For you, personal choice. Another thing that I see people doing is getting into relationships that are polyamorous when they're so uncomfortable. It's okay to be a little bit if you're using that uncomfort to grow yourself in a conscious way, again, where this is for you. But when it's for your partner and you're miserable, I see this all the time. And I've even had to end relationships where I've noticed this from my partner, where I know they love me, I love them, but I know the type of relationship that this is hurting them, let's say, because it's just they don't want to be alone and they like this. They don't want to let go of this one connection. But it's not for them, they'll admit themselves that they would be happier in a monogamous relationship, and that's what they need to feel safe. So you got to be honest with yourself, because there's nothing wrong with that, and there's so many beautiful things about monogamy that, you can't have once you're in a polyamorous relationship, and vice versa. So you got to weigh out the pros and cons of both and what works best for your lifestyle, and to be true to your heart. So when we go into, is it orientation or is it lifestyle? It's kind of a combination of the two, right? Because your heart has to be inclined to move one of two directions, which is where we'd say it's the inclination, but then also it's a lifestyle because you're choosing it, right? It's like being married, let's say. You're not born married or single, Actually, you are born single, I guess, but I wouldn't call those an orientation, you know what I mean? So polyamory could be seen as either or. Again, there's so much to talk about. There's a lot of little nuances here, and I think as time goes on, I'll make more videos on this topic. I'd love to get other people on my channel who are poly and have more diverse perspective and be able to talk about other people's experiences too, be able to relate those. So hopefully we can help more people understand themselves and ask these kind of questions. Because there's a lot that can go into it. You could want to be polyamorous, and you could be dealing with a lot of guilt and transitioning for different reasons, cultural, societal, things in your upbringing, your belief system. So it's good to challenge these things and to move at your own pace. This is it's a subject that we could go into depth for a very, very long time. So for today, we're going to leave this here, and I want you guys in the comment section to let me know what questions regarding polyamory would you like me to talk about. I know in the future I'll be making videos talking about how to deal with jealousy and how to handle your time or multiple partners, or maybe exercises for communicating, or questions that you should be asking yourself to see where you stand and what your next moves are in your relationships. But really ask yourself, in my relationships, my romantic ones, because that's what we're talking about right now, of course, am I fulfilled? Is this what I want? And if not, why? It might not be because you want to transition into polyamory, or you want to transition into monogamy, or whatever it is. Maybe it's something else, but you won't know unless you sit there and think about it. Either way, thank you guys for watching. I will be back with more content soon. Be safe, guys. Stay blessed, stay healthy, stay connected. Peace.